What's going on, YouTube? We're checking out this video by Marquette from the Saints and Sinners, and we're going to be talking about, do men have intuition from a Christian woman? And we're going to see how this conversation go. Y'all like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you like it.
You know, and if I cuss a lot, so does he. It's just kind of the nature of our household in particular. But
I understand, and I think that is,
you know, a woman submitting to her husband. That's something the church has absolutely let feminism overrun it, especially the Protestant church. And I grew up in it, so I'm 100% saying there were very few households that I grew up around.
There goes to show you the breakdown of society and how men and women are supposed to run a household when you let something that's particularly bad for the culture involve and escalate to the point where it's now corrupting your religion. It's a bad.
Where mom wasn't the ultimate decision maker. Like, they claimed that the dad was in charge, but it was, oh, well, I have to ask mom.
Well, I think that if you're in a situation where you wouldn't permit your husband to exercise that, I think you're probably more so in a 50-50 situation and just are not admitting that, because submission and obedience are very strong words. But it's like if you wouldn't give him the space, like you're essentially seeing him as a peer that you negotiate with, because he doesn't have any more dominion over you than your colleague at work. Like the things that you said he'd say to you, give you a stern look and a stern word. Your colleague at work might give you a stern look and a stern word. So our culture has gotten so far away from the true hierarchy of relationships that in your mind you find it strange that he would be able to exercise that level of power over you, so you reduce him to being able to do something that you would also accept from your colleague.
It's not at all the same for me as a coworker, because I'm not going to submit to a coworker by any shot. When my husband gives me that look, it's, oh, no, he's right. It's just enough to like check yourself before you wreck yourself. My husband makes the ultimate decisions in this house. I voice my opinions and I give him, hey, I kind of have a bad vibe about it. But if he says, hey, we're going to do this, we're doing it. And I'm along, I'm on the road. There's no, I told you so when shit goes sideways. It just is what it is.
Would you ever engage in plural marriage?
I would not, but I don't believe Christianity falls to that. It's men and women becoming one in the New Testament. It's not, I don't believe in that on the whole.
Earlier you said culture trumped your religion, so it seems like you're
I did not say that my culture trumped my religion. I said I vehemently disagreed with that.
Because of culture, not religion.
I said my religion trumps culture. But I don't
trump culture.
Yes, my religion trumps culture, but nowhere in the Bible does it say a man should be slapping his wife.
Okay.
It says spare the rod, spoil the child.
Sure.
But it doesn't say spare the rod, spoil the wife.
Sure, but it says the wife should be submissive and obedient. It says submissive and obedient.
Yes, and it says a man should love his wife as Christ loved the church.
Right, and you can love your child while engaging corporal punishment with your child because their behavior needs to be corrected. You can love your wife while engaging corporal punishment with her because her behavior needs to be corrected. When you speak of obedience and submission, especially, those are very strong things. And so, yes, I would think that if someone is charged with submission and obedience, if they step out of line, you are permitted to do that which will instill submission and obedience, in as much as it does not violate something else you're prohibited from. So it does not prohibit you from being able to direct your wife in a certain way, be it corporal punishment or otherwise. So it doesn't prohibit that, but it does give you the right to put her in line. Submission and obedience by whatever means would make sense that are not violations of other things like the commandments, for example. Not to say that I'm promoting it. I'm not. I'm just using logic here and just seeing.
And I don't disagree with your logic, just on a.
You're on your personal life, yes.
On my personal life, no. My husband's a very large man. If he slapped me across the face, he'd probably knock me the fuck out. If I'm being real, that's part of it. My husband's 6'4", 240 pounds. So No, but it's just men hitting women. I don't believe that to be biblical. I just don't.
Is it what do you mean you don't believe it to be biblical? It's not, like, for example, if I was talking about stealing, you could say, well, that's not biblical. It's specifically prohibited in the Bible, but this is not specifically prohibited. And when you think about,
And when you steal or you do anything bad, you get corporal punishment for it. But they only want corporal punishment when it doesn't align with them. But when it do aligns with them being entitled to corporate punishment also, they don't want to align with it. They want to say, oh, I don't think this should be that way. I don't think it should be like that. They want to kind of like try to justify or move the goalposts. But at the same time, when anybody do anything wrong, especially when you do something wrong that discriminates the family, usually you get corporal punishment for it. Even kids get it. So I get it. Maybe you shouldn't give your wife or your husband a corporal punishment, but they're going to get it anyway, regardless if it's inside of the house or outside of the house, if they do anything wrong. So corporal punishment is just a part of life.
about it, even if the Bible is written by human beings, which many say it was, the most basic of interactions is that between the man and the woman, especially those in marriage, which is referenced in the Bible. So if you don't address this, that'd be a bit strange, right? To just leave this undiscussed if it's not permitted.
I mean, I agree, but I don't.
Right.
I don't see any examples either in the Bible of men hitting women, telling women to sit down and shut up. Yes.
Do you see me?
I don't see examples of it being prohibited, and that's where I said I understand your logic.
But I get your point. You mentioned there's a lack of examples, so there are many examples of God giving a man a second wife or permitting a man, especially royalty, to have many wives. So would you allow your husband to have other wives?
In the Old Testament, yes, that was permitted. I do not see examples of that in the New Testament.
So
as a Christian,
just said that
Jesus
when they don't align with them, they don't want
to,
Yes, that doesn't mean that the Old Testament is irrelevant. That's not what that means. In fact, Jesus specifically states that he's here to enforce the laws that were previously given. But I don't debate religion, so I'll leave you with that understanding. But since you're saying you're a Bible follower, did you go into marriage as a virgin?
I did not. No,
you did not.
I also didn't. I also did not. I also did not come into my marriage as a Christian.
Was your husband a Christian when he came into the marriage?
Not. We both grew up in the church and culturally Christian, but no. We both. America's a culturally Christian country, right? Like,
okay.
Church on Easter, church on.
Fair enough.
Christmas Eve, that kind of stuff, I mean, I did not. I grew up in the church, so I actually drew a very distinct line when my life started separating from the church. I honestly had no idea who God was until about 2 years ago when I started reading the Bible for myself.
For yourself.
So for myself, like I had never actually read the Bible. That's absolutely what you're supposed to do is read the Bible.
No. A woman is not supposed to lean on her own understanding. You can read the Bible, but your true understanding is supposed to come from your husband. It states in the Bible that if you don't understand something, and certainly you wouldn't because it's very complex, you need to ask your husband or a man.
Well,
but they would never do that because they don't want the man to have full control, which that's what it says in the Bible. God, man, then children. God, man, women, and children. But we don't live like that as Christian people. That's the reason why most people are walking away from Christianity, because the church have been corrupted and men not in church no more. It's more women, and it's more single women. It's more women who ain't virgins and more women who had a past and things like that. And men are like, no, I'm not signing up for that. But let me know what y'all think about the video down in the comment section, man. Till next time, it's BDOT38. I'm out of here.